I'm good.
Might be a chair in there, DJ.
I don't think there is. There will be.
Make it easier to get out. Just found it interesting.
We're going to call this meeting to order. It's 5:00 now, and I'll ask.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together this evening. We ask that you assist in the Board of Education make decisions and help us to keep our students at the center of all that we do. We ask for wisdom and discernment. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. It's always good when we see all these young these students and Board of Ed candidates, and it's all good. So we're going to do introductions now. So I think that
Nathan, start
we'll
Nathan.
start with you, Nathan, right? Okay, and we'll go around, all the way around, and then we'll hit the table, okay?
It's your chair. There we go.
I'm Nathan DeWater. Ed Cole.
Jessica Markwood,
DJ Taylor. Josh C.
Sammy Dennis, Emily Morris. This is Red Morris. Angela Hopkins. Karen Hopkins.
David Hopkins.
Donnie Evans.
Asia Evans. Heather Evans.
Jean Fager. Maddie Lloyd.
Jessica Alford. This is Grayson Lloyd. Misty Lloyd.
Warren Sager.
Roy Harper.
Janet Rose.
Sean Collars. Sheena Van Meter.
Melvin Shook.
Dixie Dean.
Doug Hunt.
Harper Strong.
Okay. Now there'll be a test on this. All right, we have some presentations this evening. We have student achievement and recognition. Principal Emily Morris is going to lead us with that, please.
Hey. All right, can I have my three students talk here with me? All right, so we had, so these three young ladies entered into our school Young Writers Contest, and there are 3 levels of competition. So we have a grades 1 and 2 competition, a grades 3 and 4 competition, and a grades 5 and 6 combined competition. And these 3 young ladies were the winning authors at our school competition. So we have Jessica Alfin, Asia Evans, and Bristol Hopkins, and they have their writing with you. So they would like to, if you would like to hear it, they would be, I think we would all be very honored to hear what you all wrote.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
Please. Okay, so we're gonna start with Jessica, and I think she's gonna, you wanna stand back there with Mom? Does Mom have some illustrations? Okay. So Jessica won the grades 1 and 2 competition.
First, I built a snow cone shop. My bait is snow cones. I put my bait out to trap the snowman. Next, the lip, and the cave calmed down. I let the snowman out. Then we built a snow fort and we have a snowball hut. Last, he goes home for his dinner, and I go home for my soup. What will you do if you caught a snowman?
Nice job.
Nice job. All right. Next we'll hear from Bristol, who won the grades 3 and 4 competition.
The first was a peaceful place until a cat named Bloom came from space. Gloria wasn't an ordinary cat. Bloom did not know about it first. She lived in space for years. Her owner space was the only person she knew mostly. But now Bloom cannot go back to it. Bloom made the tiny cave and there was a pond. She used her claws and teeth to catch fish. However, space was distraught because Gloom brought her joy and now she's sad and scared. Meanwhile, Bloom was making friends with other animals and she found a big cave. It is a dragon cave. Gloom was feeling scared, but Gloom is never scared. Why, said the dragon. Hiss, said Gloom. Leave my cave for cute little cute cat, said the dragon. But I am Gloom, she replied. Well, I'm Amber, the dragon of the forest. Everyone fears me because I am your dragon, roared the dragon. I'm not scared of you, hissed Gloom. Wait, you're not scared of me? But I am a dragon, Amber said confused. I'm a space cat. I must give fish because I'm hungry, Gloom said back with confidence. Amber looked at Gloom and said, I'm ready to come along too. Gloom told Amber to follow her, so Amber followed Gloom to her cave where Amber cooked fish for them and they ate it together. After a while, Amber told Gloom that she had to go home. Gloom decided to have some playtime in her cave. Meanwhile, Amber's mom, Fifi, called Amber. Fifi told Amber she needed to find some fish to bring home. Amber asked her mom if she could help Gloom find her way back to space after finding the fish. Fifi did not know Gloom, so she told Amber that she could not help her. Amber was not happy and wanted to know why. Her mom suggested that she play with her siblings instead, but Amber did not want to do that. She told her mom that she needed to help Gloom, so her mom said that she could help her only this time. So Amber went to help Gloom, but she didn't know how hard it would be. She explained to Gloom that her mom was unhappy, so they had to hurry. Gloom was excited that Amber was going to help her get back to her real home. Hours later, they were floating into space. When they made it to Gloom's home, space home, there was a place to see her cat with a dragon. Gloom asked Space if Amber can stay forever with them. Space said yes, and that was just how the story of Gloom and Amber and Space Force and had fun.
Nice job. Very good.
All right, and our 5th and 6th grade level winner was Asia Evans.
The Giants World. The giants and humans aren't that similar, but also not that different. So let me tell you the story of the Giants World. Long before iPhones, laptops, and TVs, at least 1,000 years ago, there were something large roaming in another dimension. Some people called them heroes, others called them villains. Sophia and Shara are the ones who told the story of when giants and humans weren't allowed to hang out, even though some giants did break the rules. However, there was one giant who did break the rules. His name was Zach. He broke so many rules that they had to enforce a law. Giants lived in a place who had access through a portal. Humans could get to the giants' world, but giants could not access the human world. Sophia went through the portal, and Shara went in behind her. Everything was double the size there. The food, animals, and houses were giant. They saw apple trees with apples about the size of a car. The girls saw a dog that was as tall as a building. A 2-story giant house was as tall as a 50-story building. Sophia and Char met nice giants and others that were not as nice. One of the not-so-nice giants they met was Zach. Zach accessed the human world by going through the portal. Sophia and Shara saw Zach going through the portal to the human world, so they followed him back through it. Zach was already gone by the time they got to the human world. They searched high and low and day and night until they found traces of him. The traces that they saw were lights and posts down on the ground with footprints around them. They followed the tracks until they found another clue that Zach was somewhere around there. They found Zach's hoodie that he always wore. They knew that he had to be around there somewhere. The girls looked around until they found his hidden doorway to yet another dimension. The new dimension was an animal world with no humans or giants. Sophia and Shara knew if they went through they would disrupt the world. They needed to make a plan to get Zach without harming the dimension. They went back to Sophia's house and mapped out a plan. The girls knew someone in the giant's world that could make potions. Sophia and Shara went to the giant Ruth's house. They asked her if she could make a potion to turn into a different animal based on the animal that they pointed at. Ruth said, "I will make this potion, but you have to do something for me first." The girls looked at each other and asked in unison, "What?" Ruth wanted them to find the gem to the heart of the mountain. Sophia and Shara went on an adventure to find the gem. They faced harsh weather and some predators. They got the gem and headed back to Ruth's house. Ruth took the gem and said, "Thank you, I will make you the potion now." The girls got the potion, said thank you to Ruth, and went on their way. Sophia and Shara drank half of the potion, and they went off into the hidden door once again, in search of Zach's. First, they transformed into dolphins to cross the sea, then they turned into monkeys to swing through the jungle. Once again, they searched high and low for Zach. They found Zach, but stayed hidden in a tree. The girls found him caring for some animals that got hurt. Zach noticed them and played tough again. He knew the girls saw him being soft. He tried to run, but the girls catched up to him. Shara said, "You don't always have to be tough for people to notice you. You can be kind and nice. People will still notice you just for who you are." Zach said, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I've been so mean and bad. I guess it's just how I was taught when I was a kid." Sophia said, "Let's go home and show everyone that we can all find good in someone." The girls and Zach went back to the human world. They showed everyone that giants don't always need to be bad or mean, even though that's how they were taught when they were younger. The law that giants could not be in the human world was broken. Giants have been here with us, but no one notices them anymore because they are just like everyone else.
Excellent work. Yeah, Mr. Shook, you want to give him that?
Here, young ladies, I have a little bracelet for you.
You can have, yeah, ladies, come on over here and let Mr. Shook give you your.
Wonderful. So that, is that a fox or a tiger? What is it? There was a good eating. Thank you very much. Wonderful job.
Thank you, kiddos, so much for coming and reading to us. Those are excellent. Very nice. Very nice. That's all for her. Yep, it would be me. It would be me next. You ready for me for the Emily Morris Rising Star? Okay. So the next thing I'd like to do is Mrs. Morris was recommended for an award at the State Department, and it is called the Superintendent's Rising Leader Award, and she was selected as one of the recipients. And so I just wanted to take a second to honor her. It says, "On behalf of the WVDE, it is my pleasure to recognize you as a Superintendent's Rising Leader for the 25-26 academic year. You have been recommended by one or more of your colleagues as a distinguished classroom teacher, specialist, and/or principal who has demonstrated exceptional educational talent as evidenced by effective instructional practices and student learning results in the classroom and school. Exemplary educational accomplishments beyond the classroom that provide models of excellence for the profession, one who offers strong long-range potential for professional and policy leadership and has an engaging and inspiring presence that motivates and impacts students, colleagues, and the community. So I wanted to recognize Mrs. Morris, who is amazing and does a wonderful job. And we are so
Yeah, if you're gonna be in a picture, just now.
She does all of it while being a great mom. So that's a really important part also.
Thank you, Mrs. Morris.
Thank you and congratulations. And so you, hey kids, it's really hard to stand up there and read something in front of somebody, isn't it? Yeah, that's
That's
tough.
pretty impressive.
Yes, excellent. Third grade. Yeah, that was very nice. Good job, kids. Okay. You guys are welcome to stay, but you can also go if you'd like to. It's up to you. You're understood. Thank you for coming. You're gonna get a photo for me, the group. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful.
Good job. Thank you guys for doing it. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. It was good.
Okay, so next up is Josh, maintenance and transportation updates.
We had a short month, but rather jam-packed month full of different things. On the month in the department, we closed 85 work orders. We were 89% reactive in a 7-day period. East Hardy Elementary had 15, the high school had 22, Moorfield Elementary School 13, MHS 17. MIS only had 3, and Moorfield Middle had 15 of those work orders for a combined 85 on that. Due to the weather and that ice, 5 out of 6 buildings leaked. And it wasn't just one leak, it was multiple. And the one that did not leak was East Hardy Elementary School. Even Moorfield Middle had a couple leaks in it. So we got Height Roofing come in. They knocked it out. They did it as quick as they could. I think we still have one active leak at Moorfield Elementary School. That was one of the previous ones. They may have just missed a small pinhole or something, but we'll get them back after this rain, just to make sure we can find it. We did have the fire marshal inspection on February the 18th. I have not received that report back yet. There was only minor infractions, nothing of great concern. We had a couple exit lights out and found some holes that need the red caulking in. We also had the school safety assessment by the West Virginia Capitol Police. They're the new governing body with the Department of Homeland Security. They really don't have anything but recommendations for us. They don't have any money for us, but they find all kinds of different things that we can upgrade our school with that we already know about. But again, they have no money to give us, so all they can give us really are recommendations. But it's always good to hear from those guys. It's great to have them on our team and to get them into school, with their uniforms and whatnot on. And they're a great source for any kind of questions that we have when it comes to those things as well. The East Hardy High School elevator that went down, it was actually repaired on February the 12th. It is back in operation. It had a busted seal and had a total hydraulic fluid loss. A group called CBIZ, CBIZ, it's a group that was hired by Brim, came in last week and did an audit in all the buildings, and they were looking at the HVAC, the fire panels, sprinkler systems, things of that nature. It meant nothing to us. We just had to give them access, but they were just primarily doing an audit for Brim. And since we're on the Brim inspection is done every other year. She is scheduled to be here April 22nd, and we'll go through all of those buildings on April 22nd. The SBA bids were opened on February 4th. The East Hardy Elementary School elevator, Mr. Staggers had some issues with the terminology in the contract, and I was going to give him that opportunity to clarify, I think, because he had said those things to you, what he and Charlie Bass, I believe, was the deal with the name.
Yeah, so he was a representative that I spoke to. There was a couple terms in the contract that I just wanted to get clarification that it wasn't something that would be incurred particularly because of weather. One was a remobilization fee if they weren't able to if they were ready to come but weren't able to for some reason. I was like, we're right in the middle of, look outside, it's unpredictable still this time of year. He assured me that weather was not something that they would characterize as triggering that remobilization fee. The other being a storage fee, is that if they brought equipment to the location but it wasn't ready for whatever reason to be installed or be put in, that they can remove it then, put it in essentially a storage facility, and then displace the cost to us. Because it's East Hardy Elementary and there is adequate room, especially in the lower level of the building, I didn't see that as something to be concerned about. Really, it seemed as though it was those two things in particular would be triggered if it was something that we told them we weren't ready for, that it couldn't come, or it was delayed because of some reason due to our locations. So he also indicated that that remobilization fee, especially in the 4 years that he has been a representative for Shenandoah Elevator, they've never charged it that he's been aware of. So that gave a little bit added assurance to him.
Does their contract have a list of scope of the work, or?
It does. I have
Okay.
several copies here to
Okay.
give you all
Good.
if you'd like.
Good. Thank you.
They were also the original company that created that scoping work that we took to the SBA.
Right.
So they're aware. They were the ones that actually found the issues for us. The MES flooring to go along with that SBA, Kiefer is the outfit that was the low bid on it. You guys have seen that as well. You wanted to hold off. I laid the samples on the desk
Thank you.
prior to the meeting. You're more than welcome to put your hands on them again. The breakdown on them, it looks like it's about $10,000 to $20,000 increments in the different types on that flooring. There are several bullets below the actual proposal from them of things that they want in order that, in my opinion, we don't have. I don't think there's anybody around that can do that with, on the expertise level that I think a company like this would want. And anything that's outside of that bullet will void that warranty, and to drop $100,000+ on the floor, I definitely want to have things right. I know for sure there is not a vapor barrier underneath that concrete, and I know we all know that it is not level. So on Thursday, a guy named Adam from Kiefer, I just talked to him right before I walked in the door. He's going to meet me Thursday morning. He's going to go through, he's going to mark things up. They're going to come back with more numbers for us of what it would possibly cost for them to do that part of the work. So, questions going through your head? I know that because they were going through mine. So I went back and I looked. $345,330 was our entire SBA that we received. That's with our money added to what the SBA gave us. $345,330. If you subtract the, I got it here somewhere in my notes, the $128,899 from that, it takes us down to $216,431. If you would decide to go with the most expensive on the Kiefer proposal, the $119,610, that leaves us with $96,821 for them to be able to do those bullets of that work. When we just talked X, Y, and Z numbers, they were just ballpark numbers. He never said a number above $10,000 or $20,000. So I feel comfortable if they come in and they come back with something that we will still have a sufficient amount of money left to be able to do that work through them. And then the last piece of that, if they want a third-party inspector to come in and check that work, but if they're going to work, I don't know why they want a third-party inspector to come in, but they still may want to do that just in case they
Just to cover them, probably. Yeah.
But, even choosing the highest one, I wanted to throw out there, it's almost $100,000 that we would have in order to do that extra work with that floor. And I'll have, I don't know when they'll get numbers back to me, but Adam will be here Thursday if they can look at that flooring and see what all action needs to be done.
Would it be possible to use that $100,000 for something else?
You can only use it for what the SBA
Yeah.
granted it for. So it either has to go to that flooring or to that elevator.
Is
Who
the
did you
elevator gonna need more money? But I guess no way. to-
Unless they get in there and dig into it and find it. But they were the original ones that came up with the scope of the work
Right.
that I feel comfortable. Now, their number did go up because it was, I think, 9 or 10 months prior. And then we had to go through the entire SBA process, and the cost of everything just went up.
Everything everywhere.
Yes.
Did you say this was Kiefer that was coming in Thursday to look at?
Yeah, Kiefer.
Right,
did
the same
proposal.
people that's
Yes,
gonna-
sir, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's good.
So it's the same exact outfit, they know everything about it, yeah, and they'll have eyes on it. They were here one other time, I believe, another guy, Aaron, that was here. And then the last piece I have, if there's no more questions on
I have
that.
a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not on the floor though, but it is the building. Do we still just have one toilet in the restroom?
Yes,
Is there any intention to fix that? I mean, I think it should be. I think it's absolutely insane for the boys and the girls to go in and share the toilet. I mean,
Can you get an estimate
I'll do whatever
for
you guys
Dixie?
wanna do. The concrete floor's there, the plumbing's there. The easy fix to that is to cut another door and build another bump out that you're gonna have to heat, cool, and replumb to. If not, you're gonna be busting concrete, replumbing, pouring concrete again.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
I asked a long
Yeah.
time ago about it.
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
could have fixed it.
I don't know if that, we were already up and rock solid at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I just, I don't think that one toilet
I
with
agree with
that
you,
many
Dixie.
kids
I definitely agree with you.
and,
And I thought the building was originally designed with separate.
I think it was.
Could that excess money be used for that?
no,
No,
Even though it's
Just-
in the building, but not.
it's
On the
just
floor.
for flooring,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
But what we can do is get an estimate for them to let them know, will that work? Get a solid estimate so that you guys can see what it'll cost to put the,
Yeah, we
Put
could
the
get a
piece
porta
on.
potty, huh?
yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. But let's get an estimate. We'll go from there. We'll get a quote.
Okay.
I think we're gonna run into all kinds of problems if we have one restaurant.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody.
somebody's not gonna lock the door and a boy's gonna walk in on a little girl or vice versa. And it's, I mean, we're just waiting for it to happen. Not to mention the cleanliness side,
So you're wanting a separate, a separate enclosed bathroom is what you're talking about, like with its own door, whole separate thing. I
Yeah.
think it would be easier to go out, probably, but we'll figure that out. Okay. We'll get it for you.
the last piece I have is, ESG, the Energy Savings Group. They met on Friday to give us an update. So I'm just kind of basically going to read through a bunch of these. Water conservation is complete and has been inspected. Says they will monitor it. We did the walkthrough on that in January. The building envelope, we did the walkthrough on February 3rd, the second one. I had told you previously about all the findings we had the first time we walked through. They came back. We found a couple minor things and they came back and fixed those things. They're saying the lighting is 90%. They keep telling us that. It says they were billed for 90%, but they are actually around 98%. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there are a couple little things that are here and there. They didn't just go to one building and finish that building. They went to a building and it did a couple things. They go to another building. It was really distracting and confusing for me to try to keep up with them, but they're getting there. They're almost there. But on top of that, at the same time, I went to Jeff Allred with that company. Jeff's a fantastic guy. I told you guys about the breaker that he jumped in and did for us, $26,000. So I told him about another issue with the Warfield gym lights. The quote we had coming back just for the lights alone was $13,000. Jeff looked into it. They're taken care of and it costs us. So, so we're up to about $40,000 now with these. They're great people. Jeff needs a better guy. With the $40,000 and what would have been our cost, ESG is now eating and doing those things for us. So I'll kind of take the headaches along the way if they're going to do favors like that for us.
Is that our main gym?
That's the game gym at Moorfield High School.
Because that's the one that has all the lights out of it.
Right, but we weren't going to repair them because they're going to do the
Okay.
replacement piece. So yeah, we thought that was silly.
46 lights in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was he looking for at the intermediate school on Wednesday? Jeff?
Oh, it's hard to tell. They're all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, he is, he does everything. He could have been looking for water, he could have been looking at solar. Jeff's not a worker, Jeff's a guy like me, it's just, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell what he was doing.
Okay, he was, I don't know who the man was who was with him, but,
Yeah.
he came through there Wednesday.
Yeah, and he very easily could have been with the building envelope guy again, pointing out the things that we had found prior to.
It was someone I didn't recognize.
Solar, it says they're working on the final design, they're 90% design drawings, they'll have on March 26th. They'll send a copy to me, Dr. Van Meter. And it says solar has received all permits with signatures for the installation of the solar panels. It goes into the big one. Warfield Elementary School HVAC has been ordered, due in May 2026, and work to start when school is out. So that's going to be a big one for us. Those units, whether you remember or not, most of them are dated 1996 on top of that building. So that'll be a big break for us. The East Hardy Elementary generator is ordered, supposed to be here also May of 2026. And the water meters, they're still waiting for those to come in. It says they're working with the water company to get the correct one, and they'll schedule the work as soon as they come in. And that'll also lower the rate at the schools. And then they'll meet again on March 19th, or we will meet again on March 19th. So that'll update us. So pretty busy month for a short month for us on the maintenance side of things.
What was their water conservation plan?
They put in flow restrictors on toilets. They put in foot pedals in kitchens, and then they were taking the larger water meters that we really didn't need at the intermediate middle school and putting the smaller ones in because you're actually charged for the size of the meter. And I guess over time that would save us thousands of dollars just because of the size of the meter that we didn't need for that building. Yeah.
But the pressure and everything will still be.
Yeah, which has caused us a lot of problems, a lot of backups and stoppages and things like that. Because when you take the flow rate down, and
Oh, yeah.
they use half a roll of toilet paper, it won't flush on one flush. So yeah, there's been a lot of issues on our end. Yeah.
In these, what's going on with the Moorfield High School auditorium lights?
We're waiting on them as well. We didn't want to do it. When that first came out last summer, we were in the talks about doing this contract. And now they're in there. In order to put those lights in, they don't build anything simple anymore. There's no catwalks. And it's actually elevated. And it's over top of the chairs, so we have to unbolt the chairs from the concrete to be able to do it. So I'm working really hard right now on Jeff and James, the electrician, to do that for us rather than us do it. It's just seven lights or just some bulbs and change. That's all it basically is, but it's going to be quite the feat.
Oh,
to do.
sure.
Yeah, just because unbolting, entire rows just to change one light bulb, and then architects and engineers think it looks great, but not when you put boots on the ground and you're actually trying to fix stuff.
And let's see. You had a thing on here, it was new, that Principal Campbell put on about a locker coming out of the wall and also a surround that a locker is coming off.
They've already fixed it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
those are probably fairly new. Those are just like things we fix and everything.
Okay,
It
good.
happens often. You just you just don't see it very often. It was the trim coming out, and one of the lockers was actually coming
Okay,
out.
well, I felt like it did need to be taken care
Yeah,
of,
it
like, because when they see stuff torn up like that,
They want to be real.
there's no pride.
We see it on bus seats
Well,
all
let me
the
see
time.
if I can pull this in.
Yeah,
So,
that's all I have on that. No new word on the new buses when they'll be here. I gave them the numbers, so I'm just waiting on to hear back from them, but whether or not they come, when they'll be here. Yes, sir.
thanks.
How far past due are they?
They're not. We ordered them late. We expedited the handicap ones, so they're actually going to be early. They're just going to both come together. But I did find out they come with all the seats, so we can run it as a 7-to-7.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew you knew that. I didn't know that. So we'll be able to run the
Right.
handicap as a 7-7 until we need a handicap.
Right,
So that-
exactly.
That's good.
Good.
That's really good.
Okay, good, so then you just
Take them out when you need it. That's really good.
but they'll send us the regular, the handicap.
You just take those seats out, right.
And it's ready to go. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Jessica.
Yes, ma'am. Three big things for a tech update that we have forthcoming. One is the skill, that's SKYLL. It's a part of the SIPA compliance. The skill has been developed by the Department of Ed and is being released for grades 3 through 12. And they've been working on the portal and working on the content in order to roll that out to our schools. We are now in the phase of accepting and then implementing, so we'll be looking at that with principals over the next couple of weeks. And that'll be a part of our new onboarding and orientation when our students return. As you know, the SIPA is the Students and Information Internet Protection Act and all the things. So that is part of that project that's been in the works now for about 9 months. And do you guys have any questions on that? The second thing that we received is the cybersecurity grant. It's a part of the federal grant, and we have 3 big components: the Fortinet, the Barracuda, and the FortiFish. The Barracuda is essentially a cloud database backup and protection. The Fortinet is for firewalls and ransomware, and the FortiFish is a training application that we're using as a part of a 3-prong approach. So we'll secure all the data as first level with the Barracuda. The second level with the Fortinet, we'll be able to see who is accessing what they're accessing and making sure that any changes that are being made are authentic and logged. And then the third phase is any variation thereof, training our people on it. And that'll come through, like, for example, a lot of times you have emails that are phishing, bad attachments, bad links. They click on those links, it then compromises our network and our system. We'll be able to send out fake emails, and then those individuals that click on those emails, will enroll them in about a 1-hour training. So that way, do not click on bad links. Yeah.
You've been officially warned. If you click the link, you got an hour of your life you're never getting back.
Everybody, every student, every staff, everybody. So the skill training is designed specifically for the students to learn about content and internet bullying and but ransomware is more server level for us in-house. Students also get bad messages as well, external messages, but we received, especially recently in the past 3 years, we've seen an uptick across the Department of Ed, individuals that are sending messages that may or may not have malicious software attached to them that can then, if we don't catch it fast enough, lock us out or corrupt some of our files. So this is our response to that, to try to be proactive, to make sure that we're not one of the special counties that'll experience that. And by being ahead of the curve and offering the training opportunity, we can kind of be like, hey, we know that this is your behavior and that this is what we did, so now we can help to secure us on few levels.
And you said all student and staff will be trained?
Yep.
No, that's good.
Yeah, go get. And then the third update is E-rate. So it is our goal with E-rate this year to do more for the elementary school. They're in need of additional new access points. They're one of the oldest networks that we have here. And that way that their internet continues to stay up, their access continues to stay up. The only glitch that we see right now as far as timeline is with the solar panels and getting the additional cable and conduit ran to the Pilgrims building. And we've talked to Jeff as well, and he's working with us to even get the structure up as early as possible. The glitch with timeline is most E-rate projects have to be launched and ready by April 1. After talking with Jeff as well, we're looking at that structure for the solar panel for us to start to run conduit. Isn't going to be until closer to May, June-ish. So we're also working with Advantage on the back end to try to streamline this timeline so that way everybody can overlap and we can make that happen. That is still a work in progress, but as far as E-rate, that's the goal and that's the timeline and that's the school that we're targeting. And we've got a couple contingency plans if all those timelines don't work out. We should be all right. Any other questions in the tech world? And I know you've seen me, this is third time in a row, so I know we did CTE month and CTE meetings. Do you have any follow-ups for CTE items?
I was impressed by all the FFA and all the CTE programs that went on this year. It was very interesting.
They did a fabulous job.
Yes, it actually did.
And as a follow-up to that, our high tunnel cover is on site. We did receive that. And we're working with Josh and the maintenance team as well to make sure that we have scaffolding and ladders available. So we're able to install that as soon as possible. I know that was a topic of discussion earlier. So wanted to give you guys a heads up on that to let you know it's here, it's purchased, and we'll be able to do an install as soon as the weather's ready.
Ham, bacon, and egg is
March 13th.
13.
Come and eat, come and enjoy. All the smokers are up, the drying rooms, as you remember last year, we did the renovations at East Hardy High School with the new refrigerators and all the things, and all of that is working and all systems are go, and they started smoking and salting and all the things within the past couple weeks, and if you're in the labs this week and next, it smells wonderful. So,
Yeah.
yes, and the strawberries are delicious. Thank you for all those that supported. I know I made a strawberry delivery this afternoon. This afternoon at the central office.
It's East Hardy this year, right? Or is it back to Moorfield? Is it at Moorfield or East Hardy? Ham, bacon, egg? Moorfield, right? Okay. Is it always at Moorfield now? We do it at Moorfield all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other school.
That's right. Yeah, they used to alternate, but it became easier to just operate at Moorfield. That's right. That's right.
Yes, that's the cover. The cover is, yes, the high tunnel cover. We've purchased it. It's on site. It's actually sitting right now in the maintenance shed, right out here by the bus garage. And as soon as we can get some scaffolding and ladders and the weather's fit, we'll be able to put that top back on, so it's not a convertible model anymore. Air conditioned. Air conditioned, yes. Full 4 seasons, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. No
Thank you.
worries.
Okay.
Help yourself.
Prostate.
Are you ready for me? Everybody's ready for this exciting
public school presentation. So I thought it was important because I feel a lot of talk currently about the current stated funding formula and proposed changes. So I thought it was really just a good idea to do a refresher for everybody to say, remember, this is how we get funding. And we'll just kind of fly through this. You'll also hear it called, instead of as well as the school aid funding formula, you'll hear it called the public school support plan. So those titles are kind of used interchangeably. But it's essentially the plan of financial support for the public schools in West Virginia, also called the state aid funding formula. And it is a basic 7-step program with other allowances added in. So we say 7 steps, but there's actually 10 when you get to the math. And here are the first steps that we're going to look at. You're going to have the professional educators, which would be your teachers, your counselors, your administrators. Then you have your service personnel, which would be your cooks, your custodians, your bus drivers, those positions. And then you have your fixed charges, so any retirement, things like that are added in. And then you have transportation, how we get our funding for transporting our students. Our professional student support personnel, which would be nurses, guidance, social workers now fall under that category. And then step 6 is other current expenses, substitute employees, faculty senate, that type of thing. Step 7 is broken down into an A, B, C, and D, which is our improvement of instructional programs, which would be like your textbooks. Your B, improvement of 21st century technology systems, which would be our technology part. Our advanced placement, and that's just what it sounds like. That's your AP exams that students take. We use that money now to help train teachers to be AP instructors, as well as paying for that AP exam for students, which we do now. And then teacher leader induction, this pays for our mentoring money. So if we have, Mr. Simmons works as our mentor, he's paid out of that piece of funding that's specifically for that part. Then you have step 8, which is your total basic allowance, your sum of all of those parts. And then your local share, which is what you bring in locally from local taxes. So they take that 1 through 9 and they subtract out your local share, which leaves you then, of course, they're going to make the adjustments that leave you then with your state aid allowance. And so we'll just kind of go through each of these just briefly. It's based on an FTE, which is a full-time equivalency, meaning we have some students that attend in pre-K, for example, 4 days a week. So they take that into consideration and they look at the number of students that we have, how many days those students are in attendance, and then they adjust that. We don't have any adult programs, so that doesn't apply. We do not have less than 1,400 students, and we're not established with another school except for the South Branch. We send students to there, but that's the only school that we're sending students to, and it doesn't apply in our funding for this part. Our districts are classified into one of these parts. So we are sparse, which means we have less than 5 students per square mile. And all of the 55 counties, their counties are going to fit into one of those categories. And if you are sparse like we are, we get 72.75 professional educators per 1,000 students. In 2017, there was a legislation that passed that said that we were funded for the number of personnel based upon what we should get. So if we would come in under formula, meaning we are funded for 315 people, but we only have 312, they're still giving us the money for those additional folks. It used to be that if they said you could get paid for 315, you only got paid for what you were employed. But if we would come in under the formula, which is not the case, if you would come in under, you still get that full amount. We're actually over, which means we're employing people that we aren't paying funding for. But that was a change that I was mentioning. Step 1, funding allowances. They look at the basic salary, so they take the state minimum salary scale for teachers. That's what the scale is called. And then they look at an average of that. So they look across the state and say the average teacher makes, from all the new teachers to those that are ready to retire, the average teacher makes somewhere around $45,000, and then we get funded based on that for 200-day folks. There is a state principals increment that falls in under this. I think they get like $250 every 3 years addition. It's really very insignificant. If you teach math or special education and you are certified and you teach that for more than half of your day, those folks get bumped up on the salary scale 3 places. So if you're a brand new teacher and you're teaching math, instead of getting paid at the 1st-year teacher salary, you actually get paid the 3rd-year teacher salary, and that's how they're salaried. Same for special education teachers. Bonuses, which would be, there's a small classroom teacher bonus if you have over 20 years that's added to that scale. And then if you have your national board certification, the county gives you a small stipend, but then the state also gives you a stipend for that. The professional instructional personnel, again, these folks are classroom teachers, librarians, attendance directors, and psychologists. And then there are special provisions, so we're funded for a 200-day employment term only. So anything extended on employment days are paid through local funds, and then certain employees are not funded, including, and this is important for you to know because you have to have them, but they're not funded at all by the state, your treasurer, your director of support services, which is transportation and child nutrition, and your technology system specialist, which would be Tony, your TSS. The state won't give you funding for these positions. There's no category for them to fit in, but you have to have them, but they're not going to give you any money or count them as a position for you. The number of service personnel that we get as a sparse county is we actually get 55.50. So we're on the far end of that, and that's what we get from sparse. And that's based on an average of the days. Service personnel, they do take into consideration how many days those individuals work, and there's a calculation for that. So if that person, if your custodian, for example, is a 240-day employee, there's a sliding scale. We get paid more than just that average 200. We get paid a little bit more than that for those folks. Again, it talks about how if we're under formula, we still get paid for the full number they say we're allowed to have, even if we don't hire that many. Again, we're not under, so it's not applicable to us. And then funding allowances, based on the years of experience and pay grades, they look at the basic salary, the state supplement, and then those are additional things. When you have service personnel, they have their shift differential pay. They get an additional amount of money if they supervise students, which the board, approves every year, that list of supervisory aides. And then specialized healthcare procedures pay. So if we have, for example, a student who is a diabetic who has to have assistance or needs medication, we have certain service personnel beyond nurses that we train and certify so that they can help oversee that administration of medication, and they get a small amount of money for doing that. And the state would cover that part. An allowance to cover the employee share of contributions. Again, we're looking at fixed charges. So there you can see the unemployment, workers' compensation, retirement, Social Security, all of those things that the state considers when they're coming up with contribution. Step 4 is our transportation piece. So this is based upon actual expenses for the latest year for which data is available, which always ends up being 2 years behind for us. So for example, what will get funded next year, we're in 25, 26. the 26-27 school year funding that will come in for transportation will actually be the 24-25 school years, because they finalize that, certify that data, and that's when they look back to determine what we'll get. So we're always 2 years behind when it comes to transportation. It does not include bus driver salaries, that comes out of personnel, but remember that we get reimbursed for, as a Sparks County, 95%. When I say reimbursed, that's the money they're counting on us getting of our expenditures for anything we contract with for transportation. Now, this is really, really important for Hardee County. So we're the only county in the state of West Virginia that does not have a bus garage. So we contract our mechanical work that we have done, which means because it's a contracted transportation service, we get 95% of that reimbursed. That's not an unlimited amount. There is eventually a cap. We've not yet hit that. So when we bill for our, or when we're billed for mechanical work that's done on our buses, we get to count that towards this reimbursement piece. If you have a bus garage, then while you can get some funding for building parts of that garage, you then make those bus mechanics your employees, which feeds into your formula. So we're actually in a really, really good place the way we do our transportation currently. There's a current bill out there, I don't think it's a House bill, right now that's getting ready to go to the House floor, that looks on the surface like it's going to do us a favor because it's giving us a little bit more money per kid, but it wipes out the whole transportation step of the formula. So if you take that piece out and we then would have to absorb that cost, Hardee County in particular would be extremely hard hit by that because we don't have a bus garage. We would have to build a bus garage, find and hire bus mechanics. It would be a real nightmare for us, but I'll keep you posted on that.
Are mechanics classified as service?
They are, yeah. This just talks about, it used to be based upon, well, okay, so step 5, the professional student support personnel are nurses that we talked about earlier. Social workers could now fall into this category. They locked that in based upon the 2012-2013 allowance, which was under the school nurses and counselors. What you were allowed to have back then is now still what you're allowed to have, and they haven't changed that. And it's 5 per 1,000. So we can have like 11 people in Hardee County to be a nurse, guidance counselor, social worker. And if you just look at the fact we have 5 nurses and we have 6 schools, we have 6 guidance counselors, we're already at 11 before you would even add our social workers. So this funding really will help us with those folks. It's because the need for nurses has gone up so much. Then it talks here about how now they expanded it to include social workers because it's addressing chronic absenteeism. So. And that just talks about the 5 per 1,000 that I mentioned. 6 is allowances for current expenses, substitutes, and faculty senate. So remember, our maintenance expenditures are reported by the county, and then they look at an average of the total square feet, and they do that calculation per square foot, and based upon the expenditures in the state for maintenance. So that's how we get maintenance money, is based upon that formula, which is a really odd, probably not accurate formula. The salary-related expenditures are excluded, so you pull that out. Again, all personnel are going to come under that step 2. And then we look at expenditures reported in the SBA funds are excluded because those are unique funds that we request and write grants for. So they don't include that under this. Faculty Senate money. So every employee, remember, we get sent money for all of our employees, which is $400 for our professional staff to buy supplies for their classrooms, and they get that every year. And then, of course, it talks about substitute costs. So there's a formula in there that helps us get a certain amount of money that we get to set aside to pay for substitutes. And that's what makes up this step 6. Step 7A, again, if they look at the growth of your local share the previous year. So let's just say our local share goes, we go up $100 in local share. We would get 20% of that, which would be $20. So you take that $20, and that's the additional money that you would get that following year to work towards the base $150,000 plus that other $20 to help you buy textbooks. I will tell you that this is absolutely never enough. Never enough. The textbooks, extremely expensive, and we've tried to move to the online format simply because it's it's easier to have those because of our kids having devices. But it's not a popular thing because the teachers and the kids still really like having the textbooks. Part of our original levy order that we had written from the beginning included additional money to buy textbooks for kids, but it was eliminated when we had to cut everything down to make it reasonable, but that's how we put that money. Step B, is the technology piece, so you just get that base $30,000, and then if local share goes up, you get again that 20% of the growth. Now, remember, there's no guarantee that local share will go up. That's just, if your community's population's declining and you don't have that type of resource any longer, if it goes down, you'll get less. And then they don't take away from you, but you don't get that additional growth. This is for advanced placement. It's a small amount of money, but it does the trick. It helps our kids who take advanced placement courses. And then the allowance for teacher and leader induction. I do want to say this about advanced placement. It does not pay for the salaries of those teachers to teach advanced placement courses. We work that into the schedule. It just pays for them to be certified to do so, but it doesn't pay for additional people, as full people. And our teacher leader induction was pretty new in 1819, and that just helps us get folks to mentor our new people, and it helps to pay for that. So they take all of those things, all of those preceding 7 things, and they say, okay, we're going to add all of this together, and this is how much you need to operate your school system based upon that formula. And they get a total. And so then they take that total, and they estimate the regular levy tax you're going to collect. The excess levy taxes are not included, so should we pass an excess levy, it's not considered in this formula. It's all just based upon that added together. And then they subtract out your local share that's coming in. So I've used this example before as an $8 million example. If $5 million, if the state says you need $8 million based on that 1 through 7, and then locally you're going to collect $3 million from your local share, your property taxes that we collect. You still need $5 million. The state says here's your $5 million, and that's the end of it. That gets you to the amount that we receive. So we only get what the state says we need. If we collect more on local share, they just slide the scale as to what the state gives us, and we get less. So if we collect 4 million local share and we need 8, we only get 4 from the state. If we get 5 million local share, we get 3 from the state. So the scale just keeps moving. And I've used the example of Doddridge County, who had natural gas, who would bring in, they're about almost exactly the same size as Hardy County Schools. They would bring in $28 million a year in local revenue or local property taxes, and they didn't get a penny from the state because that whole thing is based upon what they think you need. And if you bring in more than that in the end locally, they keep their money and we use local share money. But your excess levy money is not considered as part of that formula. Any excess levy is above and beyond what they say you need to do that. I do want to say that the money that you would collect in lieu of taxes, what's it called? Pilot, yeah, payment in lieu of taxes. Part of the formula at the end does consider that. So if payment in lieu of, if there's an arrangement made that money is going to be brought in through another source locally, and let's say that's $100,000, in the very, very, very end of our formula, we have to count that payment in lieu of. What we don't have to count are community funds, but we do have to count payment in lieu of, and that comes off of that formula that's, through those 8 steps. They'll subtract that off, and then again, we just get what the state needs. So that doesn't help the school system at all. That was so exciting. I know everybody's just so engaged, but I thought it was really important that we kind of recap that quickly. So
I think most people, myself for years, always thought that you get all your taxes and then you get that 8 million from the
Right.
state. And it isn't that way, when you break it down, it's a big, big difference.
It makes a difference when you know that you need more, but your whole funding is based upon just what that state says you need and can have. So if that formula doesn't change, you're only getting what the state determines you need by that formula. There's no other way to bring it in, unfortunately.
Well, they've successfully bankrupt several
Yeah.
counties
They have.
that have really tried to stay within the formula. I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you stay within the formula, you will be able to survive. But the problem is the needs have grown so much that the number of people you need to successfully operate far exceeds what that formula is going to provide you. So you may get to the point where you need 3 special ed teachers, but you're at formula. And if you hire what the state requires you to have per state code, you are operating above the formula because one piece of legislation says you have to, but you're not getting funded for them because the other piece of legislation says they're not going to pay you for it. So if you hear the complaints about, hey, we need special ed funding, we need increased money to come in for those pieces, that's why, because that's how we get our funding for people. And the people are the most expensive thing that we have. It gets me fired up.
Explain something to me.
Sure, I'll try.
Okay, the state says that we're to hire everybody for 200 days.
Okay. Well, they don't say that you have to hire everybody for 200 days. They're just going to give you an average of what a 200-day employee makes to pay for them.
Okay, so you could actually do less, but that wouldn't even cover the school time, would it?
Well, you couldn't hire full-time people for less. So a minimum number of days for a full-time employee would be 200. You can't go below that.
Okay.
Unless you do like a part-time temporary person, which just isn't entitled to benefits, right? Or, and am I speaking correctly? So if you contracted with, let's say an interventionist that's a retired teacher, they can come in and they can work in the classroom for 140 days, but they don't have access to benefits that we would offer to them, to a full-time employee, which would be 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you go over that number of days, like say we have some that are 240,
Mm-hmm.
and even 261, I think that I've heard you say, well, the 261 people get 21 days of vacation.
They're offered 21.
I don't understand what's going with that. Are they paid that, or
They're paid for 261 days, and they have an option annually of 21 vacation days, but the difference being they don't have to take them off. So there are people in this office that are 261-day employees, but maybe only miss 5 days a year, and they can't carry those days over. So vacation days, unlike sick leave, can't accumulate and be transferred year to year. So if you don't use them, you lose them, and we don't pay them out for any of the central office employees. It's just access to those days, but they can't accumulate or carry over. So they're paid. And a lot of times they'll be even, when they take those days, they're answering emails and they're working from wherever location they are because of the requirement or level of the position.
So how about a 240-day employee?
240 days have non-work days. So they would have the 261 being the number of days available to be worked in a year. So if you're a 240-day employee, you're paid for 240 days, and you have 21 days that are non-work days that are required to be taken off. So when that happens, you have to make your employees not come in for 21 days sometime throughout that calendar year or through that fiscal year.
Okay.
And that's where we were running into trouble, if you remember when that was changed, is we had people who had to work. Well, we tried to prevent the carryover piece. Of course, that was a problem, but we needed them to be here to work, for example, payroll or anything with the new system that we have for the state that requires us to keep up with our accreditation piece. That was the problem.
Okay, and so a 200-day employee, how many non-work days do they get?
Well, 200-day employees don't get non-work days. They get 180 days with students. Students attend 180 days. And then the others would be OS, holidays. Is that right? Holidays count as your extra 20 days. That's what those would be. Yeah, it's the school. When students attend 180 days, and those other 20 days would be the days off for Thanksgiving, PD, all those. Yeah.
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 Okay. I'm just trying to get it.
The difference. It's
Yeah,
confusing.
it-
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit, so. And like, you have 210,
A 210 means that those 10 days are in addition to the regular school calendar that you might have folks that need to work. I think our guidance counselors are our only 210.
yeah.
Our
that's what I
secretaries are 220 or 230. I think high schools are 230. Custodians are 240. They work through the summer to clean 40 additional days outside of the regular calendar. Yeah. That's it.
Have we thought, I know that space and teachers and have we thought any more about our preschool kids that they would go more than 4 days?
That's the state's requirement, right,
That
Jennifer?
They say just 4 is all they can go.
Right, because they don't have a planning, so the teacher, yeah.
But
Yeah, I
thought
think that's
if
it.
We could figure that out, you know,
You
they
could
could
figure it out, but you're gonna have to, in my opinion, you'd have to put in additional
Staff to
staff
take the kids,
give
right.
those teachers that planning time, or
Yeah.
run another bus to give the teachers the planning time. to
Well,
stay.
you'd probably
We can't
have
do
to
that.
float
Yeah.
a person and a half. So you're really, I don't know if it would pay out, but you know, it
Yeah.
really might help the kids that are having a rough time. To, especially at the first, you know, when everything is so important that they
Probably would at least be a person and a half for each side to do that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that what we would get for that Friday would cover that. I don't think so. Thinking the math in my head. Yeah. But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I know out at daycare, when we did it, they went 5 days.
Yeah.
But we only got paid for 4 because that's what you guys were getting reimbursed for.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
The 5th day was a daycare day and not an instructional day, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
okay. So, you done?
I'm done. That's it.
Public comments. I don't think we had any different. Okay, so we'll move on to the consent items. We have our board minutes from February 16th, 2026, attachment 1. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, and the consent items are approved. Unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Okay. New business. We have approval of the school calendar, attachment 2. Okay. Have a motion and a second. Now discussion.
This one,
Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say this one has the staff starting on the 18th and students starting on the 25th. And I believe the Grant County one that we were worried about had students starting on the 21st, which is that Friday. And then, of course, you have a weekend. And then, so there would be 2 school days in Grant County that students would attend. And then Hardy County would start one day, the 3rd day. So it's only 2 days difference. I thought that was much better. I feel much better about this one than the 2 weeks we had last year. I think last year was 9 days difference. This year it's just 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this one was pretty overwhelmingly I can't remember the exact,
That's what I was gonna ask. How
count.
popular was this one? How much?
I do. You may go grab them. I'll tell you.
I didn't
Just give me a
know
second. Yep.
how much it
Grab it for you.
Was the chosen one? I was just wondering if it came from the school with the biggest staff of them.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it one at each school.
I'm at each one, okay.
Calendar 1 was, which was the late one, I believe. Yes, had 31 votes. Calendar 2, which was the really early one, had 72 votes, and calendar 3 had 161. So it was pretty overwhelmingly the choice. Yeah.
Okay, and Sean said the votes came from all the schools, not
Yes.
just one school.
Yeah. They were pretty well. Yeah.
Okay.
It worked out well.
I hope everybody's happy. I mean, it
Well,
seems like a good calendar.
It sounds like it's gonna work out much better for the VOTEC.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will.
We won't have the same problem as last year. So, guess we need to vote on this. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the calendar is approved by both. We're down to board members and superintendent discussion. No action may be taken.
I had just making sure everybody saw the email about the walkthroughs. So we were going to do East Hardy Elementary in the morning and East Hardy High School in the afternoon for March 17th.
Hold on. You said East Hardy Elementary School?
In the AM. Be there around 8:15.
And what day is that?
I will email this to you if that is easier. I just wanted to make sure we were good. Yeah, I don't know. It's March 17th. March 17th.
St. Patrick's Day, isn't it? Okay.
Moorfield Elementary and Moorfield High on March 19th.
Again, elementary first.
Yeah, elementary first, and then we'll leave there and go to the high school. And then MIS and MMS on March 24th.
Are we going to be
What?
assigned?
Yeah, the principals are going to just do like they did last year, where they kind of pair you up and give you different places to go. So we get a variety throughout the building, and then they'll give you that to you that morning, so you have it.
Okay. Are we expected to be there for lunch?
Whatever you want, totally up to you. You can, yeah, it's totally up to you guys. If you want to stay and eat lunch, you can. If you want to eat breakfast, you can. But once you're in there, you'll be in there until you're ready to leave.
What about Eachus? Remember we talked about visiting there?
Oh, you did. Can you?
I will find out and make it same day as like MES.
You want to do that the same day you do MES and MHS on March 19th?
Give them both dates and see which works and communicate that. How's that?
Yeah, we have the 17th and the 19th and the 24th.
Obviously, we
Eachus.
forgot. Sorry.
Over at Eachus at the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it works.
I can't do anything past 11 on the 19th, but that doesn't stop you from scheduling something.
And then I guess at the last meeting, you guys had asked for some financial policies to review. And so we're going to give them to you this time and then put it on the agenda when Sarah's here at the next time, if that's okay. That is our local policy. Here is 8200, which is the state's policy. It's a good one. You guys will be busy. You needed a week to read all those, didn't you? Yes.
That's the last time you gave us.
8200. I'm gonna guess no. Not that I've. They knocked numbers back a little bit, but I'm not sure if they've even updated it in that or not.
I
But
just wondered, I have this. It's the same.
I would take the new one just to be on the safe side in case there are changes there. But we will. We'll go over that. Have Sarah discuss specifics. She did say to tell you if you had any questions at all that you would say, if you would email those to her ahead of time as you run on to them so that she can make sure she has answers for you, if you would please. And then the last thing that I have is the Teacher of the Year, Service Person of the Year guidance document that our county strategic development team came up with. And they, you probably saw the nomination forms out. We had a good number of nominations from each. It closed Saturday night for service and professional. We opened it up to the community so that folks could vote instead of just doing it in-house like we had in the past. And the overview essentially is that from each school, the principals and assistant principals will review all the nominations. There's a scoring rubric. They'll pick the top 3 teacher, the top 3 service from each building. And then those buildings will vote, the whole building as a whole will vote on both of those categories. It'll come directly to me, so I'm the only one that will know who the winners are from each building, and then we'll go to the school and surprise those people. Those folks then will get to interview, all of the professional educators will interview for the Professional Educator of the Year for the county, and then the same with service. They'll all interview, and that's across bus driver, and here will interview for the service of the year. So we're going to use retired service teachers of the year and retired Professional Educators of the Year to interview those areas. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be really, really nice.
When you go to school, let those people know if you'd let us know.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to come and join us, that would be great. That would be great. We can do that. Help me make a note to do that, Sean. And then, is it the last thing I have? That was the last thing I had.
I just have some handouts, and this is the South Branch last minutes and information from them.
Thank you.
Just some, stuff to read.
Special ed onsite, yeah, we did our entrance interview this morning at 9, and they are going to be at East Hardy High tomorrow, and then on Wednesday they're going to be at Moorfield Elementary and Moorfield Middle doing their interviews. They actually finish up in those 2 days, and then on Thursday morning they have our exit interview with us by Teams. They'll already be back in Charleston.
This is the park
Okay.
meeting and information.
I was
I
asking,
think we need to schedule a readathon.
There's a lot of stuff.
I was asking Melvin, I saw on the continuing ed for board members that there was something that you and Melvin had
Oh.
taught.
That was a mandatory one that you did do that one.
I did do it.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
can sign up for it. I mean, I can get credit.
That was the
for it.
special education training that we had to do. Roy came in, and yeah, you guys did it in Charleston, and then
Okay.
I had to have a board member that had participated here to help train the principals, because the way they wrote the legislation was the board members had to do the training. So Mr. Harper needed the training anyway, so he came and got it that day, and then Mr. Shook came and we did it all
Okay.
together, got it all knocked out. Yeah,
So now,
worked out.
would we have gotten credit for it in Charleston?
you
Yes.
did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, if you logged on to you know how you had to log on and mark the classes that you took?
Because there was a separate one. I'll have to
You
go
were there,
on.
you were there.
You got it.
You logged on. You should
Yeah,
have,
I'll
you should have
go
it
to-
Huh?
She
recorded.
probably put it in because Roy had, because he attended it.
Here. Yeah,
So
Roy
he can
attended
log
it here, so he had to
that's
log
why
in.
there was a
That's why it
separate
was
ed.
there. It's separate because she entered it because, yeah, you did it there. They created a session here to document Mr. Harper's. That's what it was for.
We sat through it together.
We gotcha. Yeah.
We were afraid.
Yes, we were.
Does anybody know what the latest is with the Senate and the homeschool bill that takes away every regulation?
They passed it with only regulations related to how they're getting their quarterly payments for the Hope Scholarship.
Do they have to provide
Well,
invoices to get reimbursed?
They don't get reimbursed. They do it all through that portal, through that online account that they're granted through the state treasury's office. So everything they do, they put their account number into there. They basically spend their money through that account online through that portal. We don't do any of that. They can only purchase through the approved vendors that are online. So they basically online shop and pay with that account.
I think there is a reimbursement aspect to it as well, but Dr. Damian pointed out, once they get to the Hope Scholarship and they get that approval, like our involvement is over at that point. We don't see the funding, we don't know when it gets distributed or how or anything of that nature.
Well, JR was saying that like if he buys a microscope, that
Yeah.
he has to have a receipt and get reimbursed.
I think he
for
was misinformed about when he was saying all those things, because his child's not a Hope Scholarship student.
that. Right.
I think he was just misinformed
right,
about the process. Yeah.
And he was saying that he didn't want his child to have to come to school
Yeah.
for 45 days.
And that's no longer the requirement now. You don't have to even come to school to be enrolled for 45 days. You can just
Realize
pick up.
that.
Yeah, he knew
He
that.
knows.
Did he?
Yeah.
Whatever.
the interviews have been interesting. They really have. It's been, I'm glad they're doing it. Since I didn't have to sit through one, but it's offering insight.
Okay, future agenda items.
We will need to add that if you guys want to have the principals, last year, I just saw that agenda the other day. We did the presentations where the principals come and present to you on that board meeting. If you want to do that again, we'll need to create that agenda. And I know we did it a little different last year, and I can't remember how we did it.
And I don't think, I mean, I know I asked the different principals what they would like to see and done to their school, and one project might have gotten done at Moorfield High School. I think she supplied picnic table where they wanted.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the things we talked about, yeah. But I don't know, if you guys still want to have those, if you still want to do that, we'll have to pick a date. I think we did it in April last year.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, we'll maybe look at some dates in the next meeting we have. We can talk about, if you want to do that, what date works best for that meeting.
Will they have any updated tests? They'll have 3 tests in by then.
They will. Yes, we've just finished the third. We'll have
To
data.
hear their take on,
Their data? Okay, that's a good idea.
yeah, to see how they're evaluating it.
Sure.
And,
Okay, we'll think about that and we'll talk about that at the next meeting.
okay,
Works.
all right. Anybody else have anything? Under announcements, March 16th is our next board meeting. That's here at the board office beginning at 5 o'clock. Mission statements and accomplishments.
I was impressed with the young ladies. There was a thing on the internet, it said a lot of college freshmen, I don't know if they couldn't read a sentence or write a sentence.
Or both.
Or both. You know, they were impressive, especially
Yeah.
she was very articulate for a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. But they, I mean, y'all did
Oh,
a fantastic job.
She seems like a smart little cookie.
All 3 of them.
Well, very
Absolutely,
confident.
absolutely.
Yeah, very self-assured.
She
Yeah.
was very confident in her
Oh,
ability.
sure.
That's amazing for someone like that.
She's probably the oldest one in the family.
Ah, she's a good one.
You're saying
Is
that because
is she the eldest?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah.
She the oldest, Nathan? Yeah, she's the oldest.
good old birth order.
There you go.
Mrs. Rose and I was at MIS to help Judge G.
Social studies.
Social
there.
Studies Fair. One of the best days I've had in a long time watching those kids. There were some impressive things out there to see, and I told them to let us know how they progress because there was some that was excellent.
I talked to one of the parents yesterday at church and the student, and they went back to their site that they did the project on over the weekend and tweaked it even more.
Okay.
So I'm eager to see how that does at regionals and hopefully state.
You go to state, is that as far?
No, well, they go to regionals.
I think it's just state. Yeah, state's the max.
They go to Musselman, and then they can, if they win there, they go on to state.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that.
They were great, I can tell you that.
There were 3 young ladies who won FCCLA national first place, I believe, in their areas, which was really cool. So, and I know one of their names, but I can't remember the other 2, and I don't want to butcher it. But congratulations to those ladies. Moorfield High School's FCCLA. Oh,
But what didn't the girls at the middle school?
Bless you.
I'm so sorry. Didn't they win the regional in basketball?
PBLs.
7th grade boys won.
And the girls won yeah, 7th grade girls, yeah.
PBL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I was proud of.
And our wrestlers are going to state this week, so
Yeah.
good luck to them.
And a lot of girl wrestlers.
Lots of girl wrestlers, yeah.
Lots of girls. I think that's awesome.
That is awesome.
All right, so we'll move on to personnel.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Did we get any personnel pieces this evening?
You did, yes, ma'am. I'll recommend the,
Oh, I see it.
Got it.
Oh, my, got it.
I recommend the approval of the days without pay for Kelsey Roberts for February 16th, one day, Allison Heflin, February 25th and 26th, a half a day each, and Kimberly Mungold, March 5th, a half a day. I'll recommend the approval of service personnel hirings for Tyler Bradfield, bus operator countywide, Anthony Smith, bus operator countywide, and Emily Pierce, autism mentor aide, special education at MIS. I will recommend the approval of service personnel transfers for Haley Hours, ECAT aide, pre-K MES, effective June 30th due to reconfiguration of staffing. Heather Hours, aide, MIS, effective June 30th, 2026 due to reconfiguration and staffing needs. And Hayden Baldwin, general maintenance countywide, effective June 30th due to the reconfiguration of staffing needs. I recommend the approval of service personnel terminations. Heather Hours, ECAT MIS, effective June 30th, again, due to reconfiguration. Jennifer May, aide, East Hardy Elementary School, effective June 30th due to reconfiguration. And Hayden Baldwin, electrician 2, countywide, effective June 30th due to reconfiguration. I recommend the approval of service personnel terminations of extracurricular contract for Lisa Walker, bus run 1, effective June 30th. Ralph Rinker, extracurricular bus run 2 for June 30th, and Deborah Ferris, extracurricular bus run 3 for June 30th. I recommend the approval of professional personnel hirings of Attakilt Tamaru, substitute teacher countywide for the 25-26 school year. I recommend the approval of professional personnel transfers, Caitlin Sturgill from kindergarten teacher at MES to first grade at MES for the 26-27 school year due to reconfiguration. I will recommend the approval of the athletic hiring for Ethan Judy, assistant coach for football at Moorfield High School for the 26-27 school year. I recommend the approval of a letter of agreement for Alicia Reynolds, teacher, Moorfield Elementary, as a change of assignment to a split assignment for first and second grade for the 26-27 school year. I recommend the approval of Robert Williams as a volunteer at Moorfield High School. I recommend the approval of the following resignations. Tamara Weimer, limited football trainer at MHS MMS, effective February 28th. Tyrone Haynes is an authorized certified coach without pay for softball at MHS, effective February 24th. And Jeannie Brown as the authorized certified coach without pay for girls track, 7th and 8th grade, effective March the 2nd of 26.
We have a motion and a second for superintendent's recommendation on personnel. Any discussion?
I'm confused about number 22 and number 25.
Oh, okay. Do you want to answer that question? Yeah.
So, this was part of the risk transfer process that we just finished up. What this is, and it is confusing because it has to be, it's what our state code requires, but Mr. Baldwin is staying with us as a general maintenance position.
But not as an electrician.
Not as an electrician, so what we're required to do is eliminate that part of the position. He'll remain as an automatic applicant for the general maintenance position. There's nobody else with higher seniority, so it's a foregone conclusion essentially that he will be the most senior person for the general maintenance once we repost it. But that is by far
The salary change for.
a small salary change. We did have those discussions with all of the folks that we had meetings with the RIF transfer aspect of it.
So does that leave us without an electrician?
It does.
And are we going to advertise that for an electrician?
Well, we can't due to the elimination of that position. A lot of the discussion around that centered with the ESG and all of the things that they have been doing with that and the lack of need in trying to get closer to that formula, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve personnel. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we're approved 5-0.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor? And we're adjourned 5-0.